In Search of report this morning, 23.5 million people in the United States have diabetes. That is nearly 8% of our population. You know, we regularly hear in the news these days about type 2 diabetes because it's the kind that's brought on by obesity and poor diet. It's been increasing, but we rarely hear about type 1, which is also known as juvenile diabetes. It is a life-changing, lifelong diagnosis, and this morning we give you a first-hand look at a day in the life of a family dealing with this disease. Take a look. It's 6:45 in the morning, and 10-year-old Meredith Korberg is getting ready for the day, which starts with the first check of her blood sugar levels. Meredith was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when she was just 6 years old after experiencing some strange changes in her health.
I noticed she was going to the bathroom a lot, drinking a lot. In my mind, I'm thinking, urinary tract infection or, something like that.
Type 1 diabetes most commonly appears during adolescence. It's very different than the more talked about type 2 diabetes, which often is triggered by obesity and poor diet.
I really tell the families it's bad luck. It's nothing that the child did. It's nothing that the family did. It's just very unfortunate.
Within hours of Meredith's diagnosis, the Korbergs began to learn just how life-changing this would be.
It's an autoimmune disease where the body attacks the cells in the pancreas that make insulin. And insulin is needed anytime that you eat something with carbohydrate, for example, cereal or bread or an apple. And because the body doesn't make insulin anymore, we have to give the insulin. And I always tell the families, the good news is that we have insulin as a medication and that it's a disease that you can live with. The part that's very difficult is that the only way that insulin can be given is by injection. And for children, it's multiple injections a day, somewhere between 4 and 6.
Almost like having an infant almost right away, because you had to be there every morning and every night to give shots.
And the shots are just the beginning. The Korberg family had to learn how to test Meredith's blood sugar, which involves a finger prick at least 6 times a day. They had to learn how to give insulin and just how much insulin to give, which involves counting every single carbohydrate that goes into Meredith's mouth.
Wednesday, pepperoni pizza or chicken stir fry.
They had to loop her school in and make sure they could handle all her checks.
Walking tacos or barbecue?
Before lunch, I'll go down to the office, check my blood, and then I'll go to lunch. Fritos! Yes! And then after lunch, I have to go back down to the health room and figure out how much carbs I ate.
You're going to enter 32, Meredith.
Okay.
It's a good thing it's her and not him. We love you, but it's true. She is a trooper. She's been a trooper since day one. That doesn't mean that she doesn't have times when it does hurt and she cries.
Meredith now uses a pump that distributes the insulin to her body. She still needs to keep track of her carb intake and punch that information into the pump's computer.
Yep, 25.
But she's now able to avoid the painful daily injections.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Diabetes is stressful when you first get it, but after a while when you get used to it, it's not that bad, and don't be scared to ask what is the pump, and is it an iPod or whatever. I'll explain it to you.
In reality, this disease is a huge responsibility, especially for someone so young. But this is their new normal, and they are adjusting the best they know how.
It's challenging in some ways to try to give her the responsibility, even though she's little, but she's got to have that responsibility because it's down the line we're not going to be there.
Your kids are going to do the same things they were going to do before. They're going to be on the swim team, and they're going to go to college, and they're going to get married someday if they want, and there are very few things that children with type 1 diabetes cannot do. They can do just about anything. That being said, it is a big adjustment.
In La Crosse, with photographer Kirk Arneson, Jennifer Livingston, News Channel 8. You know, there's so much that I couldn't fit into the story about what she has to deal with. She has to carry an emergency backpack, and if her sugars are too high or her blood sugar level is too high or too low, you know, she has to counteract that with quick sugar intake. She carries Starburst and Skittles are her sugar of choice, and in case her levels are off. And you know, it is just really very detailed. You have to, you know, count every single thing you're eating, and so yeah, it's just a step in the life of someone dealing with that is really eye-opening. I found it to be. Now this weekend, there is a 2K walk to help raise money for juvenile diabetes. It's Sunday, October 3rd. It's at Myrick Park. Registration starts at noon. The walk is at 1 o'clock. And if you'd like more information, you can go to jdrf.org to register and to learn more about that. So, all right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back.